Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio, so today I am sharing with you a very exciting new GX card that's coming in Sun and Moon 5 Plus in Japan, so it won't be an Ultra Prism. It will be in our May set. It's Naganadel. Now, there was a bit of debate. I did my Poipole video earlier on today. Didn't realise this would be revealed quite so quickly. There was a bit of a debate as to the correct pronunciation. I'm not sure there is an official pronunciation yet, because I don't think there's any official products, anime, whatever, that actually say the name out loud, though I could, of course, be wrong. So I'm going to say Naganadel, and if I'm wrong, I do apologise. I'm also going to stay away from the spoiler alert because honestly, if you've even seen the thumbnail at this stage, you can see quite clearly that it is a stage 1 that evolves from Poipole, and actually, apparently there was a trailer revealed earlier on today or recently which gave the game away as well. I will give myself a quit pack on the back though because, well, it is a GX. I said it would be a GX. When we talked about Poipole earlier today, I told you it was going to evolve into a GX Ultra Beast, and it is. It wasn't exactly the hardest prediction I've ever made, but I'm calling it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, it is a Psychic Pokemon, which means you're hitting weakness against stuff like Espeon and Garbodor, as well as Buzzwole. But of course, the weakness to Psychic could be an issue because of Garbodor. Now, Garbodor is seeing a lot less play than it has been lately, but it's always there just ready to bubble up, and it's not a great weakness. Retreat cost of 1 is really good because the attack we most like here is for a single energy. 210 HP is incredibly standard for a stage 1 GX, and I'm not going to go into it in the huge detail in this video, but Poipole is actually a really good evolution Pokemon, so check out my video I did about that just earlier today. Do remember, of course, that Shining Celebi can be used to give yourself a little bit of an advantage to copy Poipole's attacks. But it is Naganadel's attacks we are most worried about today, ladies and gentlemen, and I feel confident saying that at least 2 of them are great. The first one, for a single colourless energy. Oh, did I forget to mention this is a Psychic Pokemon? So in the expanded format, you get Dimension Valley, which means that this is actually for no energy whatsoever, and it does 20 damage for each Ultra Beast that you have in play. Now, if you've got a full bench of 5, and you're active, and they're all Ultra Beasts, this is 120 for a single energy. Bye-bye Buzzwole, bye-bye Espeon. You're basically 2-hit KOing anything with this particular attack, although it is slightly annoying that you do 120 when a lot of commonly played Pokemon, like Volcanion for instance, or Greninja, have 130, and you will be falling just a teensy bit short. I've said it in a bunch of videos, but there's a big difference between 120 and 130. As a Psychic type attacker to pop into any deck, yes. Now, I say any deck, I mean any Ultra Beast deck, because if you're not playing a bunch of Ultra Beasts, it won't do very much. But Buzzwole is a very widely played card at the moment. So, I mean, this wins the mirror. If you're playing a Buzzwole deck, and you put a 1-1 or 2-2 line of this in, you just win the mirror. Because now you're 1-hit KOing opposing Buzzwole for a single energy, whereas that opposing Buzzwole needs 3 energy on their Buzzwole to KO your Buzzwole. That is not particularly easy. This is a great attack for a single energy. It's incredibly efficient, but actually, it's even better because if you use Dimension Valley, it's for no energy. The second attack for a Psychic and 2 colourless energy, so you can use double colourless energy here, and I should give a shout out to David Hochmann, the lovely man who not only translated this for me, but also sent me a Facebook message to tell me it had been revealed, because he knows I'm poorly and not checking Facebook. David Hochmann is a lovely man. Psychic, double colourless energy, 110, not affected by weakness or resistance. Going through resistance is alright because pretty much every darkness Pokemon is resistant to Psychic. Think Zoroark GX as an example. And pretty much every metal Pokemon is resistant to Psychic. Think Metagross GX as an example. Now this is actually really important because going through resistance means that with a choice band you will 2-hit KO a Metagross, And without a choice band, you will 2-hit KO a Volcanion. Problem is, this attack doesn't hit through weakness. That's really bad, because we've just been saying about what a great typing this is, and how great it is to hit for weakness, and how it's a great Buzzwole counter, etc. So, yeah, we don't like that this isn't affected by weakness. No, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a particularly good attack, but we've already got one attack, and then we've got the GX attack. Now, I told you in the thumbnail, in the title to this video, this is a game-changing card. And I mean that in the most literal sense possible. The GX attack here is ridiculous and will completely upend the game. For 3 colourless energy, but remember, double colourless energy and Dimension Valley in Expanded, so it's essentially 1 energy attachment, which is dumb. Both players shuffle their prize cards into their deck and set the top 3 cards of their deck as new prize cards. That's right, no matter what stage of the game we're at, both players go down to 3 prizes remaining. That's ludicrous. If you want the most extreme example of this, let's say your opponent has 1 prize card remaining, and you've had a very, very slow start to the game. Well, what you can actually do here is use this GX attack, and then your opponent goes up to 3 prizes remaining, and you go down to 3 prizes remaining, and then the game is all sewn up. Now, this is your once per game GX attack, but oh my goodness, we don't need this probably more than once per game. And here's the thing. If your opponent is down to 1 prize remaining, they've probably used a fair amount of resources to get down to 1 prize remaining. And if you haven't taken a prize, you've probably not used a whole bunch of cards. You've probably got cards like Guzma and like Ace Roller still sitting in your deck. You've probably got a whole bunch of your special energy, let's say double colourless, whereas your opponent doesn't. You've probably still got Choice Band ready to go, and your opponent might not. Not only does this make your opponent, if played correctly, take more prizes to win the game, but it also punishes your opponent for a fast start. It means that your opponent has used a whole bunch of resources to get ahead in the game, and those resources have done nothing. It's like the last 2 knockouts never happened, except your opponent did expend the resources to get the knockouts. So when I said this GX attack was game-changing, I hope you see that I meant that in the most literal way possible. It will completely and utterly change how the game is going. It will make sure that you both go to 3 prizes remaining, regardless of what happened before. Except, like I've said, if you're behind on prizes, usually that means you've got more resources. Now, of course, there is a fun interaction here with N, that you could go from 6 prizes remaining down to 3, and then your opponent could instantly N you down to 3 cards, and you could draw nothing, and that could be kind of hilarious. But other than that, this is ridiculous, and it shouldn't be surprising. We've seen that all of these Ultra Beast GXs have these GX attacks that manipulate the prize cards in some way. So Naganadel doing it is not some huge surprise we couldn't have seen coming, but I don't think there's many people that can honestly say they saw this GX attack coming. And I am willing to bet that, like myself, most of you, when learning what this GX attack did, or does, went, really? That's ridiculous. Then you remember that in Expanded we've got Dimension Valley, so this is for a single energy attachment, and it's a little bit silly. And like I said earlier, there is a little bit of synergy here with Poipole, because Poipole for 2 energy, but of course Dimension Valley in Expanded brings it down to 1 energy. Forgot to mention that in my Poipole video, my apologies. It's just an attack whereby next turn, if your opponent KOs, you don't take a prize, or they don't take a prize. So if you're using Shining Celebi, you can then use Naganadel to have Poipole's attack, so you can put your opponent to 3 prizes remaining, potentially from 1. It's near the end of the game, they've got few cards remaining, and then you just sit there and stop them taking prizes for a couple of turns, and then they lose. As a side note, a couple people did ask on my Poipole video, if you use Shining Celebi on Naganadel, Does your opponent take no prizes when they KO it, or do they take one? Now, the translation we've got, and David Hochmann is good at this whole translation stuff, the translation we've got is that your opponent doesn't take a prize, not your opponent takes one fewer. So I'm pretty sure that means that if you use Shining Celebi to copy Poipol's attack, your opponent takes no prizes. This is a great Pokemon that has a great first attack and an absolutely ridiculous, game-changing, game-altering, comeback-forming GX attack. I'm giving it between 4 and 5 Wassies, and honestly, I'm wondering whether I'm being just a little bit mean to it. It's that gosh darn good. But remember, we don't give half Wassies, because that would be more barbaric than this flu I've got right now. And yet I'm still bringing you news of new cards. That has got to be worth a like. And make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this card. Is it as good as I'm making out? Am I being delirious on flu and overhyping it? Although honestly, I don't think I am. Make sure that you are following on Twitter at The Wassie and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and so on, you can do so by going to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.